This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to Covered in Pet Hair, a boozy web show for pet lovers on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Isabel and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with a lady that likes to wear, wag, and repeat. I'll tell you all about her and introduce you as soon as we come back from these messages from our sponsors. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with a pet parent, an avid Pinterest user. She's an Instagram influencer, the winner of the Blog Paw's Best Blog Design Award. She's a photographer, an author, a researcher, and entrepreneur. She's an adventure seeker, a road tripper, a coffee lover, and a fitness fanatic. She was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She's dog mom to senior labs Bert and Lucy. She's a stickler for rewarding dogs for a job well done. She's founder of the award-winning dog lifestyle blog, Wear Wag Repeat. Her name is Tori Mistick. Welcome, Tori. It's so good to have you on the show.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Sounds like I do a lot of things.
You do? I didn't even mention your coaching or your love of rescue. Like, come on, you do so much.
It's true. I'm guilty.
Guilty as charged. Well, you are a very accomplished woman, and we are going to talk about that. But first, I want to introduce our drinking game. Anybody participating in our drinking game today, anytime you hear this word, make sure you take a drink of whatever you're enjoying, but please be of age wherever you're joining us from. Please never drink and drive, and always drink responsibly. So please tell me, Tori, what are you drinking today?
Tonight, I have a little rosé. It's Friday
Very
night,
nice.
so why not?
Absolutely. Well, I'm kind of in the same color family. I'm having a blackberry limoncello martini. So cheers to you for being on the show. Cheers.
That looks delicious.
Actually really is. I had blackberry simple syrup and I wanted to make something with it. So I kind of whipped it up. It's got 3 ingredients: vodka, limoncello, and blackberry simple syrup. So pretty easy. Shake it up in my glass, and it's delicious. Actually, I'm good. I'm getting better at these make up your cocktail things. I kind of wish I had some fresh lemon juice for it. That's the only thing, but I didn't have any fresh lemons.
Oh well. It sounds like a really good combo. I mean, you can't go wrong. You know,
you can't go wrong with vodka and a little syrup.
Something boozy, something sweet. It's good.
Perfect. Well, as I said, you're a very accomplished woman, and we all know that women run the world. So I want to introduce our first game today, which is called Who Run the World? Because in your world, dogs run the world and women run the world, right?
Yeah, it's a dynamic duo, if you will.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So in this case, I'm going to give you kind of a story of an accomplished individual. And I use the word individual because you're going to tell me if that individual is of the human female variety or of the canine variety.
Okay.
Are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm curious what these stories are, but let's do it.
All right. So these are accomplishments, and you're just going to have to tell me. I think you're going to get them right. I mean, these are especially some of them are very obvious. All right, here we go. This individual set many aviation records and became the first blank to receive the Distinguished Flying Cross. A 10-minute flight in 1920 forged this individual's passion for flying.
I'm going to say that was a woman.
It was
Amelia Earhart.
Very good. All right, this next one, this individual halted a national broadcast baseball game by dashing into the field and performing stunts in front of an astonished audience.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that was a canine.
It was a canine by the name of Ashley, and she was a whippet.
Oh, not an Italian greyhound. Not to be confused.
No, not to be confused with an Italian greyhound. Exactly. Whippets are totally different dogs, even though they are brindle and beautiful, just like many greyhounds. All right. This individual refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white man in Montgomery, Alabama. This sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, which lasted 381 days until segregation on buses ended.
Let's say that's a woman named Rosa Parks.
That is right. It certainly was a woman. And here we go. Last one. After getting lost on a family vacation, this individual was the first to travel 2,500 miles by foot to get home to their family.
Oh, a dog.
That was definitely a dog. His name was Bobby, and this memorable journey earned him the new nickname after he returned home of Bobby the Wonder Dog. So very good job. You see, I told you these were going to be very, very easy because honestly, it was really hard for me to find something that like would be obviously canine or obviously that wouldn't be obviously canine or obviously female because everything was like.
Now that I know what the game was, I can't really think of very many examples, but.
You told me before we started recording that you have a lot of stories of accomplished women. What's your favorite?
Oh, well, I was thinking about like women and dog duos. And if you were looking for like famous women and dogs, my personal fictional favorite would be Elle Woods and Bruiser.
I mean, yes, they took over Harvard. They solved cases. I mean, it's an amazing duo.
Yes. And then in terms of a real life duo that also inspired a movie, I think her name is Megan, and she was the Marine. I think she was a Marine. She was in the armed forces, and she had her German Shepherd, and they were overseas, and she ended up bringing him home. There's a whole movie made about them, and I forget what it's called, but it was really, really good movie. I remember it because it came out around the same time as Wonder Woman, and someone was asking me if I was going to see the Wonder Woman movie. And I said, yeah, but it's the real life Wonder Woman.
Oh, how cool. You know what's funny? I printed out all of these stories of accomplished canines. It's from thebark.com. And a lot of them were military based, but it was like they were mascots or they assisted their owner. And I was like, well, I can't say that they assisted their owner. That's a dead giveaway that it's not a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
So yes. So it was not an easy game to plan for, but you did great.
Very fun.
And now I want to ask you questions about you. So how did you end up in the pet care industry?
Well, so by accident, a lot of people, I have my own podcast where I've interviewed over 180, I think, women at this point. And hearing everyone's stories, they're always like, oh, as a kid, my mom did this, or we joined this club about dogs or whatever. And I didn't really get to do any of that, which is fine. I still had a lovely childhood, but just different focus. It wasn't dog centered like a lot of people's were. And so I just kind of got into this by accident. And I've had dogs now at this point for about 20 years. So even though we didn't have them when we were little kids growing up, I've had dogs for about 20 years. And I also had blogs before, and I did marketing before, but it kind of all has been combined in the recent years in a really wonderful way. So I started my blog about 8 years ago as just a hobby to document my love of style and dogs. And that's why I called it Wear Wag Repeat. The tagline originally was, I wear it, they wag it, and then we repeat.
Oh, so cute.
And so it was just kind of a creative outlet. I was doing social media consulting and management for other companies at the time, and I just wanted to have my own thing to work on. And so that's how it got started. But then as I got better at social media marketing and was growing all of their platforms, I was like, wait a minute, I should put some effort into my own stuff. And that's how I started growing my Instagram account and Pinterest and all of those kinds of things. And now I run my blog where I do a lot of content and posts for pet parents, but I also help women in the pet industry with their online marketing. So I've been really lucky to be able to kind of combine it all together into this really fun kind of made up career that I've invented.
A lot of us invent careers here in the pet industry. I actually wanted to ask you why it is that you decided to focus on women specifically and not just pet lovers in general.
Well, I think it's important that we all do something to dismantle the patriarchy.
Yes.
And this is my small part. So in my small little corner of the internet, I really only amplify women's voices. I do work with male run companies, and I have a lot of men and guys who follow me, and I love them, and they're wonderful. But I just think it's really important to amplify women's voices, because by sharing our stories, we're showing other women what the possibilities are, that they too could work with pets or follow whatever dream it is that they have, even if it's not pet related. And I think that there's still a long way to go to quote unquote equality. And so this is my part.
Hey, all right, let's toast to that.
Yeah. So women and their dogs.
And their dogs. All right. So I have a question about women in general and why they are attracted to the pet industry. Do you have an idea of what it is that makes women like you and I kind of pursue the pet industry professionally?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that working in the pet industry requires a huge heart and a lot of compassion. And I think that, we love our dogs so much, that it really kind of seeps into everything that we do in our businesses. And so even if it's not something that's going to benefit your dog, but it's something that'll benefit someone else's dog, I just feel like women are eager to do that and kind of yearn to share that compassion with others. And not that men don't. There are a lot of men who are really wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a really special opportunity for women to kind of do like, heart-centered businesses that really are about the amazing bond that we have with our dogs.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is not a bash men thing. This is just her specialty. So we're talking about women because that's what she specializes in. And it's not about men at all. It's just, that's where your heart lies, right? That's where your kind of purpose has taken you.
Yeah. And it's very fulfilling to me. And I know that I can impact a lot of lives when I focus on this little niche. I think that if I were to try and speak to everyone, to speak to all genders and to all pets, it would kind of get diluted. And so by focusing just on women and their dogs, as my main focus, of course, I have men on, I have cat lovers on, in part of my world online. But by focusing specifically, I think it gets more targeted and it's more impactful.
I love that. That's absolutely true. So tell me what kind of help you offer women, just so for my information, maybe I'll book you for something.
Yeah, I would love that. So one of my favorite things that I just introduced this year is the Wear Wag Repeat Society. And it is a monthly membership program. And it's for women in the pet industry who are or who are business owners or bloggers or influencers, or maybe you have like a side gig, or maybe you have lots of employees. Pretty much anywhere that you are in your journey, you're welcome here. And it's nice because you not only get guidance and lessons from me. Every month I come up with a different kind of online marketing inspired lesson. So we might talk about email marketing or Pinterest or affiliate marketing or all kind of different topics, but you also get this community. And so you get other people who kind of just like get it. And I'm sure, it's just different talking to people who are on your same wavelength, who love pets and who love business. It's different talking to people like us versus like other people who don't get it.
Oh yeah. A lot of, one of my most recent interviews was with a pet sitter who graduated college with a business degree and started a pet care business. And everybody was like, you're wasting your life. So a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah. And we don't have time for that, So we have this Facebook group community. And then also I host the lessons in a platform called Teachable. So if you're not into Facebook, you can also be on Teachable and be part of the community. And it's really great. And I love hearing from all the women who are in there. And there are a few guys who are members. I say, if you're an ally to women, you can be a part of it. And so we welcome them as well. And I hear from people just how great it is to know that other people like them. They can ask them questions, they can cheer them on, they can support each other. So you're learning, you're making friends. It's my favorite thing that I do now.
Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, well, there's another thing that you're really passionate about that I want to talk about. But first, we got to take a break, hear from our sponsors, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arrada, and today I'm talking to Tori Mistick. And yes, that is her real last name. I had to ask because it's such a cool last name. I do that. I get kind of fascinated with people's last names. So she is the dog mom that helps people be better pet parents to dogs specifically, and also helps women in the pet industry do better online and in their businesses. But she also has a love of senior dog rescue, which I share. So I want to play another game with you. And this time I'm going to phone it in and you're going to do all the work. Tori, are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. This is called Senior Dog Fan Club. I'm going to give you, on my little handy dandy timer here, I'm going to give you 1 minute to tell me all the reasons why senior dogs are the best companions. Take a deep breath. Take a drink, whatever you need to do. Tell me when you're ready and I'll start the clock.
I'll just look at the dogs for
inspiration.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go.
Okay, senior dogs rock because there was an ad campaign that says, like, we have our shit together because we're grown-ass dogs. That's not always the case. Sometimes they don't have their shit together, but they are grown dogs. And so they don't have those puppy problems. They're usually not as destructive. They're often potty trained or have some kind of little puppy manners. They sleep more, which is really nice. You can take a day off sometimes if you don't want to be running around like crazy. They're also really good cuddlers. They have big hearts. They are just the sweetest. All the things. Keep going.
Okay, well, you still have 15 seconds.
Okay, they're easy to take places with you because they're usually like a little bit calmer. And people love to see them. They get the gray eyebrows, which I think is very cute, and the gray floofy paws.
Perfect. That was exactly 1 minute. I love that you added the gray, the sugar coating, right?
Yes.
I love that so much. One thing that you didn't say that I always say is that they're more intuitive. Like they kind of know what you want because they've been there, done that, and they've gotten in trouble for like not doing what you wanted. So they kind of eventually picked up on it. And even if you're new to them, they're not new to humans at like 8, 9. So they can pick up on your energy more than puppies who are like, puppies don't know how to read the room.
Puppies, when I think of a puppy, I just think in their brain, there's like fireworks going off all the time. And because like, they just are like, oh my God, the world, everything. So
yeah,
senior
you
dog,
know what?
they've calmed down.
It kind of has to be that way for puppies though. When you think about like how intense their sense of smell is, how they're experiencing everything, like I feel like I have 2 very young children. My youngest is 19 months. And like, I can't imagine if she had like magnified sense of smell and like all her senses were like more intense than they are now. Like she's already climbing the walls. Can you imagine with like however many 20 times the scent power?
No.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy. I totally agree. And now every time I see a puppy, I'm going to think of fireworks going off in their heads. So tell me, well, you said that senior dogs are more mellow and you can take a day off, but I have seen on your Instagram feed that you actually go on adventures with your senior dogs. So tell me a little bit about stuff that you still can do with your 2 dogs who are 9, right?
Oh yeah. Well, so both my dogs are 9. I have 2 chocolate labs. Lucy I've had since she was a puppy. I've always had her. And then Bert, we rescued, we being Lucy and I, when he was 6 or 7 and she was 6.5. So I've decided they're the same age, give or take.
Yes, perfect.
And I gave him her birthday, as a matter of fact, because it makes life easier at the vet and everything to keep track of it.
Practical.
So,
you're practical lady. I like that.
So they're the same age. And we do all kinds of things, you know, especially in the past year, we've done a lot of road trips, and I live in Pittsburgh. So it's about 3 hours down to West Virginia, and we've gone down there a lot. We go on hikes. You know, they ride in the car, but they can like sit outside at night when you make a fire and be chill. So it's like a good balance. My dog, Lucy, her favorite thing is paddle boarding. And we were just doing that this afternoon. She loves anything water related. And I was it's funny you say that, like, I still do stuff, because I was thinking, looking at her today, because she likes to lie down on the board. She does jump in the water and she does get up and move around, but she does kind of get into a mood, like, and just lies down on it. And I was thinking we can do this until she's like 15, God willing, because if you're just lying there, we could do this forever. So that's something we love to do. And then Bert, he's he's my rescue. I've only had him for about 3 years, right? Am I doing the math right? 2 years? I don't know. And just this year, I got him into a new dog sport called barn hunt that neither of us had ever done before. And he like won a ribbon in it. And I was just delighted and so proud of him. And he was a total natural. And it was really cool because, he was a dog who was like on death row, and now he's doing new sports in his golden years. So
cool. Okay. So what is barn hunt?
Well, barn hunt, are you ready? It is a sport.
I don't know if I'm ready based on the look on your face. I'm not quite sure if I'm ready or not.
You have to be like a serious dog mom to be into this. So they set up like an obstacle course, kind of like a maze, not really, but like a kind of straw bales hidden in the straw bales. So there's like a tunnel in one spot. There's places where they have to climb up on it. And then hidden amongst the straw are these canisters that, like, if you ever go through the drive-through bank, you like send that canister through. Well, there's not money inside. There's a live rat.
Oh my God, my vegetarian heart.
There's a live rat, but it is not harmed. They are people's pets. They are loved, very loved. They do not get injured at all. And like a lot of dogs who do sports and shows and things like that, the rats who do this have kind of adapted, and they kind of like being in their little spots. And I'm told
it's like a day out for the rat. It's like,
so
dog watching.
Your dog has like a minute or so. You let them loose in this course, and they have to go find the canister, but it's hidden, like it's covered. You can't see it.
And you give them like hints while they're looking, or you just
do
kind
not
of
know where it is
up?
either.
Oh,
so it's a scent work sport. So your dog has to use their nose out of all the scents in there. There's people around, other dogs have been in the course. There's a canister that has like rat like droppings in it. So there's all these like distractions, and they have to find the right one. And Bert found his first one in 19 seconds.
Wow. Yay, Bert. Good job. That's amazing.
After we tried that, and I mean, I grew up in the city. This is so like not something I would do. And telling people about it, I always get a big reaction like, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. But seeing Bert do it, like he's so in his element. And I just, now that we've done it, I encourage strangers I meet in the dog park. I'm like, have you ever done this sport? Or have you ever done like agility? Or have you ever done this? Because just doing these kind of like organized activities with your dog is just so fun. And it's great bonding. And it's fun to see them having such a blast.
That is so cool. And I think scent work is so important. And I had a guest on the show back in season 1 ages ago who said that not giving scent work to a dog is like taking dance from a dancer. Like that's how like innate that skill is, and that need for them to like express themselves that way or to learn their environment that way is as important as dance is to a dancer. And I loved that analogy.
Yeah. Well, I found out about this. I don't know how it kind of landed in my lap, but Bert, he just has an amazing sense of smell that's very different than how Lucy smells things. So like we like to hike in the woods a lot, and he'll go out in the woods and come back with like a whole bone, and he just finds things. He finds things that walking Lucy for 9 years, she would never find. So when I found out about this, I was like, I think he would be good at it. And we didn't even have an opportunity to practice. We just went straight to a trial, and he just did amazing.
That is so very cool. So hopefully you can give me some resources so I can put them in the video description where people might find out more about
I have
it.
a blog post all about
Oh,
it.
cool. Perfect. I'll share your blog post so people can learn more about it. But also, before I start asking you more about you and to tell us everything about you, I have a last question. And I feel like you mentioned that you're a big fan of Elle Woods and Bruiser Woods. So I want you to put your attorney hat on and I need you to win this case for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Does it involve ammonium cyclocholate?
No, it
That's
does
for
not.
the legally
And
blonde
endorphins or
deep
anything.
fans. Okay.
No, and none of these endorphins from fitness and all those
Okay.
things that she has to fight about, or, what is it? Reckless abandonment?
Yes. Something. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Counselor, I am ready.
Perfect. Okay. I want you to convince somebody, a judge, that says that they would only ever adopt a puppy. Win this case. Why should they consider something else?
Well, I actually had this conversation with one of my friends because his kids wanted to get a dog, but he was envisioning, because his kids are, at the time, they were like 10, 12 kind of. And he was like, I'm going to get stuck with this dog. They're all going to go off to college and they're going to leave me and I'm going to have this dog. And so, not to be morbid, but if you were to rescue an older dog, it's less of a time commitment. And I know that's probably not the most popular argument for this, but it is an argument. It's a good reason. And I think especially for people with kids who are finally old enough to care for the dogs, to pick up the poop, to feed them and walk them and all that kind of stuff, then like your years of having the responsible kids around is kind of shrunken down. So if you rescue an adult dog, they're going to come, hopefully, usually know something, some kind of training. So you've already knocked off a huge to-do off your list. And then you don't have a 12 or 15 or 20 year commitment. You might have a 5 or 7 year commitment. And so I think that's an argument that people never talk about because it's a little bit morbid, but it's true. And I think it's a huge plus.
Absolutely. I also think that people who've not had a puppy ever or haven't had a puppy in a really long time have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
When Lucy was a puppy, I remember vividly, she would wake me up and then I would go back to sleep like on her dog bed on the kitchen floor. Because it was like having a baby, and I've never had a human baby, but I do think it was.
You're
like
not
that.
wrong. I have, and people are always. I'm sure you've seen the debate where people are like, it's having dogs is not like having children. Well, I had 4 dogs before I had my 2 children. Now I have 3 dogs and my 2 children. It is absolutely the same thing. If you're good at it, if you're a good pet parent, it is the same thing, especially when they're puppies. And yes, you're getting up multiple times. You're worried about them peeing. So my dogs are now seniors, and one of them is toward the end of his life. He's 14 plus, and he has a degenerative disease. So now he's incontinent at times, not every night, but at times. And so I'm getting up. My husband's getting up. Like, our kids are 18 months and 4 years old. They are fast asleep, out for the whole night. And the ones we're worried about are the dogs downstairs. So yeah, right. I mean, it's the same thing if you're doing it right.
Well, and I think people, a lot of people just don't know any better, and they get puppies and they want to take them out with them immediately everywhere and go to the bar and go to the restaurant and go to the park. And I'm like, you can't actually take your dog anywhere until they're 4 months old and they've had all their shots.
Right. With puppies, the first 4 months, well, I mean, once you get the puppy, they're usually 8 weeks, 9 weeks old. And then you're basically walking them, letting them out every 2 to 3 hours. They pee immediately after they eat, and they cannot wear diapers.
Right.
Very different. That makes baby, like, infants are easy. You can wear them. They wear diapers. Like, you literally, like, you can put them in a stroller, take them anywhere. They're welcome anywhere. Dogs are not welcome everywhere. So like, it's actually harder when you think about puppies versus infants.
Yeah, you don't get any dog mom and maternity leave.
No, you don't. So you have to wake your butt up 4 times a night and still roll out of bed to get to the office in the morning. Absolutely. It's true. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I want to know how our audience can actually catch up with you, learn more about all that you do and all of your doings online.
Yes, absolutely. So anyone who's listening, you can go to wearwagrepeat.com. And remember, it's WEAR, Wag Repeat. And there you'll find my blog for pet parents. And you'll also find all of my resources for pet pros. So you can learn about the courses, the Wear Wag Repeat Society, coaching, all the other things. And at the same time, you can learn about how to stuff the best Kong ever and all that other kind of fun pet parent stuff. And of course, you can find me on Instagram. Come say hi. It is at Tori Mistick.
Okay, so I also saw, I think it was on your Instagram, maybe it was on your blog. You did some lick paint art.
Yes.
That was so cool. I need to try that.
You have to do it. I saw this kind of made the rounds on TikTok during quarantine, and I just never got around to it, even though I probably had all the supplies lying around here. And I finally did it where you basically take a little canvas, or you could use cardstock, you could use whatever, and you drip some paint on there. You put it inside carefully inside a Ziploc bag. You cover the Ziploc bag with peanut butter and you let your dog lick it. And it makes what I'm calling a lick painting. And I was so surprised. It turned out so good. I was amazed. They're on my mantle in my dining room now. That's how good they look.
Okay, so like I said, my Titan is at the end of his life, and we are going to do some lick art this weekend so that I can have a work of art by him forever. So I love that idea. Thank you so much. I want to propose a toast to you for being on the show, for being my guest, and for being so awesome to the pet society at large. Here's to you.
Thank you so much for having me. And hopefully connect with all of your listeners even more in the future.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back. Here is to my executive producer, Mark Winters, for making this show possible, and to you, our listeners on Pet Life Radio and our viewers on YouTube. Here's to a life covered in pet hair, because there's no better way to live. Cheers!
Cheers to you.
Thank you. To learn more about Covered in Pet Hair, please visit coveredinpethair.com or petliferadio.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.